So it's been a rough month for the channel. So I wanted to bring back, and some of you really wanted me to do this before, and I couldn't get around the idea of posting content behind a fucking paywall. And but it's been a rough month. All right, my ad revenue has dropped significantly, as have contributions to the channel, and I'd like to be able to continue to dedicate the amount of time I can to this channel, and I did so today. However, I need help to be able to, otherwise I got to stand up another income stream to replace this one, in order to keep my ass out of the truck and to keep doing these things. Don't worry about YouTube videos. There's going to be plenty. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing on YouTube, but I need to stand up another income stream that's off the platform that can help support this channel. So if you are really enjoying the content I produce and you really want me to be able to put out videos, at least 2 a week, is the goal for now. 2 long ones, mind you. So there's, take your time and digest the videos I put out. Watch them all the way through, even if you have to break it down into 10-15 minute bite-sized chunks just to get through the video. I understand that. I know that I can't ask for a huge amount of time for you, but I know some of you are really starving for more of the talking head stuff, and also wanting just more opinions on things. I get questions all the time, I get emails all the time, I get submissions all the time for research. And I'm going to have to put some of that into an audio podcast, to give you a lot more content for those of you that really want it, that you really want to support the channel and you want more all the time. There's a place to go now. Linked in the description is the new, renewed ScottTheTruckDriver podcast. It's going to be a weekly podcast. I will try and post it every Friday going forward, if it's successful, mind you. By successful, I mean it has to make up the gap of income that YouTube is pretty much tanking as far as ad revenue, and the contributions have slowed, and so's exposure. Like, growth is slowing for the channel, and I'd like to keep going if I can, and not have to divert a lot of time to other things, which I will do if I got to survive. But I still want to provide content to you guys in the process of surviving. So this is kind of a test to see if I can do it this way. If you guys take a shit on it, you take a shit on it, I understand. It's by no means a requirement to go download this podcast, but I am providing you a couple hours of content, research-backed, or answering questions that I otherwise might not get to here on YouTube. That's not to say I'm not going to still do YouTube videos, but for the people who want to continue to support the channel, I feel like I should give something in return for that support. So for $5 per download once a week, I will be posting a 2-hour minimum, mind you, because I tend to go longer sometimes, audio podcast. And the advantage of that is you don't have to watch it. You can listen to it while you're driving, while you're taking a shit, while you're pounding the fuckmaster, all of that shit. It is now completely available to you if you so desire it. It's just a step I have to take to kind of keep things going, because YouTube's been doing some weird algorithm shit lately, and I can see a decline in growth, in new subscribers. And it's not necessarily in line with the new content that I've been putting up. It's more in line with not as many people watching the shit that usually brings people in to the channel. And that's some of the earlier videos I did. Those have all slowed. Everything is slowing on the channel, and I see it. I see the writing on the wall. And this is an effort to keep it going for those of you who want to watch this stuff. This first podcast, I talk about the recent news about the ketogenic diet shortening your lifespan. I talk about the study. I talk about I go over one of the biased articles, and of course I'm triggered. And I also talk about some of my real world encounters that are probably stemming from this kind of logic. So it's a nice 2-hour ranty, thing that is now available. And I'll post an associated video going over a lighter version of what the rest of the podcast is going forward. Every Friday, I'll as part of promoting the podcast, there will be a shorter clip or video where I talk about what I'm going to talk about in the podcast as a whole. So if you find a subject intriguing, you'll get kind of a little bit of a preview of it in the form of a video here on YouTube, and then you can go and consume the rest via the podcast if you decide to. As for releasing the podcast on YouTube in the future, I do have a monetary goal in mind, and that's a very livable wage goal. If I achieve a livable wage with this podcast, I will eventually pass them on for free onto the YouTube platform. But for right now, YouTube's not paying me enough to do that for the amount of work I'm putting into these videos. So I need to, I mean, how would you feel if you were busting your ass doing something and your income dropped by 50%? I mean, you probably wouldn't do it very long. I want to keep doing it, and I hate, having to monetize some of the content that way, to where only people who contribute or pay for the content can see it. But YouTube's kind of tying my hand behind my back as a platform with this drop in ad revenue and this extra algorithm shit that is really just cherry picking videos to promote. And I can't say that. Maybe I suck too. And if I suck, I suck. That is what it is. That'll show in terms of the podcast not doing well. But if you guys want to support this channel, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to keep doing it, and you want me to do it more often if possible, I really need to kind of make this a viable income if I'm going to dedicate the amount of time that I put into this channel that I do, which is significant amount of time. So I hope you go to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, check out the weekly podcasts. There are other podcasts there. It's going to be $5 per download for that. The earlier podcasts were $2. I had to raise it to $5 to compensate for all of this shit. So part of that is a contribution to the channel. The other part is for the actual content that you're downloading. iPhone users, if you have trouble downloading the content, it's available for 24 hours when you purchase it. You need to download it. I will, of course, just email me if I see that the email that you paid and you downloaded the content. I will send you an alternate link. As for patrons on Patreon, for patrons who contribute $15 or more per month, this is getting it at a discount, by the way, you will get access to these, and already have access to these because I posted it already, to these podcasts for free as part of your patronage on Patreon. So if that's your preferred way of consuming the podcasts, you can head over to patreon.com, and for just $15 a month, you get full access to all the audio exclusive podcasts from ScottTheTruckDriver.com. So I hope to see you guys there. Also, in this video, comment in this video your thoughts on doing this, of course. And of course, if you listen and purchase the podcast, you listen to it, and you have a comment in response, there's 3 ways to comment for future podcasts for me to address your comments in. Of course, I'll also pull from YouTube comments in general and emails in general. But if you comment below the video that promotes the podcast, I will do that. If you comment on videos, or if you comment on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, I will, of course, do that. Put those in the videos, and of course research submissions that you want to be part of the podcast. You don't necessarily have to specify that, because some of those I will be pulling for YouTube videos as well. Just go ahead and submit on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, or just go to the contact me on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, and that sends an email to me, and I get back to you accordingly. If it's something that's interesting, that I feel is good content, and that we can have a conversation over the podcast, then I will feature your emails or messages within that podcast. But some of those will come to YouTube as well. So the goal going forward, just to summarize, at least 2 videos a week on YouTube of varying content. Some of it will be adventure, some of it will be minimalism, some of it will be nutrition, some of it will be lifestyle, some of it will be just me being triggered. You know, there's all the usual shit there. But I can only have time to do 2 long videos, mind you. So you're getting plenty of content on YouTube still. And then, of course, this 2-hour audio podcast weekly. I'm going to try and keep it on schedule. I'm going to try and get it posted by Friday nights every week so that you have it to consume throughout the next week. You can listen while you're driving to work and all of that shit. That's the goal. And if I get enough people on board as either patrons or to purchase these podcasts regularly, to where it fully supports the channel, I do plan on removing monetization on videos in the future, or keeping the commercials, no more mid-roll commercials or none of that shit, because it doesn't make sense for me to break up videos with ads if they're not going to perform, if they're not going to pay the bills. You guys shouldn't have to watch the ads, So if this is successful enough, I will eventually make videos ad-free going forward. So we'll see. If it doesn't go anywhere, if you guys don't like it, you don't want it, just don't buy it. And that's really that simple. Don't listen to it. And that'll be the end of this idea, and I won't do further podcasts. That's really the gist of it. But I feel that there's been some really supportive people in the past that have done this without any compensation whatsoever. They just wanted to reward me for what I've already done. But this is to bring in people who want more content that also want to help the channel in the process. And if we can get a bunch of people doing these downloading these podcasts, then that will finance the channel completely, and maybe even, if successful enough, get it to the point where the only income I need to worry about is YouTube, which means I would be able to devote the most time to YouTube. So thank you once again for those of you who have contributed and continue to contribute. This is an unedited video, by the way, to the channel going forward. You guys have helped me, and those of you who are current contributors, you're definitely carrying the burden for me financially this month. But I'm falling a little shy. I'm having to work more Uber. And of course, my part-time job, I'm stepping up a notch as well, just to fill in the gaps, which of course takes away from research, from content production, and like time. Time's a valuable thing, and I only get so much of it, and I'm making the best of it, and I'm also trying to live my life and survive at the same time and maintain a modicum of fucking sanity and shit. So thank you once again for your continued support. The link is in the description, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast that I spent all day making for you today. So please go check it out. I love you all, and have a nice motherfucking day and shit.